I have 151 notifications on YouTube right now. I have so much stuff going on. I got a flat tire, had to get that fixed, and then I'm starting to work on projects for school. Why is this playing at 2 times speed? Stop! Chill. Chill. Okay. Relaxed. I like it. So yeah, for school, I'm taking machining classes, I'm taking welding classes, kind of just for fun, and to pick up a skill, and I want to get into sculpture and art. I don't know what I want to do. I want to make things. So far, I've been playing with just taking pictures a little bit, mostly today. For machining, I learned how to do knurling. Knurling is pretty gnarly. It's like barbells, and it's on all kinds of things. You notice it more as you learn how to do it, but it's kind of just smashing a pattern into metal, which is pretty cool. This is just doing very light passes, so it just starts to etch it into there. It's not really etching it though, it's like pressing it. This whole video is just me talking about my random thoughts about welding and my plans, and maybe preparing myself to make a video. I don't know, that would require a lot of effort. So today, I went and bought a bunch of materials. We bought solid bar. It's only like 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more, somewhere around there. We bought some tubes, thin gauge stuff, a couple of them. They're a little bit over 2 feet long, I think. So yeah, here's that one bar. It's 8 foot long. These, I think, are 2 feet. I don't even know what I'm making out of these yet. No idea. We're gonna figure it out. Another round bar. This one is 1/2 inch, I think, so not super thick. That same round bar. Not the most exciting stuff, but it's gonna be exciting when you guys see the final project. Really thin bar. It's a little bit over 1/4 inch. I think it's 5/16. More round bar. Look at the depth of field. Blurred out background. Good stuff. Cell phones. Crazy. This is little flat bar. I have to figure out what I'm making with all of this stuff. Some square tubing. Exciting stuff. This was stainless steel that was supposed to be on sale for $1.50 a pound, but instead I got charged $2.50 a pound, which kind of bugs me. But they did give me a discount, so it kind of makes up for it. Some plate sheet. Plate sheet is not the most exciting stuff. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. This one's 3/16. This one's 1/8 of an inch, I think. So it's a little bit heavy, but still pretty thin stuff. This is super thin stuff. Perforated sheets, lots of little holes. Maybe I'll try and make something with light, and it'll shine light through there in really distracting ways. The sheets are kind of banged up. I'm buying all of my metal as remnants, so discount metal. But because of that, it's still really expensive. But it's a lot less expensive. It's half price for what it would be. So more perforated sheets, interesting designs. It costs 2x as much to get perforated sheets, but they weigh less too, and they're interesting. They could be cool. So here's all of my stuff laid out. Well, most of the stuff. It doesn't look like that much, but it is. I think Lato's here. Lato is, you can just barely see a little bit of a German Shepherd. Lato was outside. He was not very impressed with the metal. These ones I might just turn into machining some blocks, some 1, 2, 3 blocks, which are just used for measurement and layout, not super exciting stuff. We'll see. I already made a couple, but I want to make more. Total price, $142.36. We got 60 pounds of random steel. 16 pounds of random steel. Another 17 pounds just for those perforated sheets, the sheets with the holes in them. These were those 2 bars that I said I might turn into 1, 2, 3 blocks. Just those costed $13.35. The stainless things that I said I got overcharged for, $20. They should have been $12. But they gave me a discount of $15, so kind of makes up for it. And all the stuff is kind of cheap. This is me writing down all of the dimensions, which took forever, and then putting them into a spreadsheet so that it's nice and organized, and I can plan out what I want to do. So, what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. I have a bunch of inspiration. So, a lot of this is way beyond me. Like, this stuff is forging metal, like pounding on it, heating it up, getting it to make interesting designs. This is pretty simple. This is just cutting up a tube into lots of pieces and overlapping them in interesting patterns. This is just really small tube. But I don't know how you would make this light. I don't know if that's made out of plastic or if it's made out of fabric or what. The diffuser for the light. This is cool. I like this. This looks almost like 3D printed, like additive. I don't know. It's from 2007, so it can't be that. How they made this, I have no idea, but that's pretty cool. That would be fun to play with. Something like this would be doable. It would take a lot of time just to like smooth out these inside corners. But the outsides would be pretty easy. I like this. It's simple. This would work with my perforated sheets as like a light. This will be for next semester if I can get robotics and CNC plasma cutting. You just cut this out of a sheet, so it's like custom perforated sheets. And then it would be pretty easy to do this. And this is kind of cool. You can put in whatever pattern you want. What else we got? I want to play with like organic type feeling shapes, but that would be tricky. I think this is more forging than fabrication and welding. This is casting aluminum. So they're like getting it really hot so that it's a liquid, pouring it in between wood. I've also done some woodworking, so I have some of that ability. This is super simple. This is just a sheet of stainless steel almost cut in half and then bent 2 different ways. I like the simplicity. This one also looks pretty simple. Stainless steel. I might play with stainless after playing with my cheap cold roll steel. We'll see. There's so much cool stuff. This is just like bending a long sheet of thin, probably stainless. Most of this is probably stainless. This would be cool. This would be easy. There's no inside corners. It's all outside corners. I could do this. This is just like found materials and then put into wood, and the wood is like distressed, so they messed with the wood a little bit, cut into it, hammered on it, banged things into it. This one's kind of cool. That's probably way beyond my abilities. The wings are just made out of sheet metal, stainless. These are just made out of washers. That would be fun to try. It would be pretty cheap if I can just find washers like that. Or nuts or whatever. Any kind of little metal. TIG welding, I haven't done yet. I need to learn TIG welding next semester. My mom really likes hummingbirds, so I'm thinking about trying to do something with that. We'll see. These spiders look super simple. That would be doable-ish. This would be a lot of money worth of worth of materials. It doesn't even have any welding, I don't think. I just kind of like it. You could use smaller pipes. This is a big thing. It's kind of cool. I like the chaotic. I like chaos. Chaos is cool. I kind of like all of these simple little cactus designs. That would be fun to play with copper and then like aging the copper somehow. I forget if it's just like salt water. It's some mixture. It's probably way beyond me, but it would be fun to experiment with to turn that copper that turquoise color. Simple little cactus things. I like the idea of filling it with rocks. This one seems pretty simple. It's some thick plate, but they're just bending it. They bent 3 pieces, or they're cutting a pipe in half, but I think they're just bending straight plate. So really it's 4 pieces, and then they're just welding them together in interesting ways, and they've got a circle. Like, that's very doable. A lot of these are pretty doable. This is a lot of stainless. A lot of long, thin stainless sheet. Not really thin, but kind of thin. No, it's not thin. It just looks thin. That's thick stuff. That's like 1/4 inch thick. All kind of interesting. These shapes are like way beyond me. But that would be awesome. It's similar to my logo, so that would be kind of cool. Way beyond me. Look at the craziness. It would be fun to figure this out, but it would also destroy me mentally. So I'm probably going to start with something simpler. Like, this would even be simple. This would be complex. But this isn't as impressive, and it would be hard to clean up the inside angles. This one, whenever it's just straight lines, it's possible to figure it out. It's once you add in curves that it gets difficult. So these curves make this much more complicated than these two. This one, I like the mix of bolts and nuts holding things together as opposed to just welding everything. Kind of cool. Not this specific application, but I like the idea of it. This is so simple, and it looks kind of cool. They're just taking a square tube, cutting it into lots of pieces, and then welding them together. And it looks interesting. I like it. I might try something like that, just for fun. This is way beyond me. It's madness. It's awesome, but way beyond me. This is interesting. It almost looks like they cast metal into, like, wood or something. I don't know, like poured molten metal into a hollow log or something. I don't know what they did. Interesting. These, similar. It kind of just looks like somebody screwed up, like a new person is trying to weld thin material, except the material's not that thin. So they're just like overheating it and cutting it poorly. I could cut things poorly. I could do that. Same kind of thing. Like, they're just doing a bad job with the plasma cutter. I could totally do that. And they're like hitting it with a grinder, but like eating into it. I could play with that kind of thing. Same artist. They're just so bad at welding and cutting, and there's splatter where they dripped on it. They're just making a mess. I could make a mess. I could do that. They're making a mess, but they also have like a frame. I don't know what they're making here, but I like it. This is TIG welding. That's like way beyond me, but maybe next semester. This Phoenix is well beyond me. Well beyond me. This is simple. I could do this. They're bending some stuff. They're doing a little bit of welding. It's all simple. Same kind of thing. Simple. Very simple. This one is sweet. I don't know exactly how they made that, but that's pretty cool. It looks like they're like cutting up. This might only be interesting to people who do like metal stuff. I don't know. I like that this turns perpendicular to this bottom piece and that it looks like it's all one piece but just with slices in it. That one's just interesting to me. Too much effort for how cool it is. This just looks like a minimalist cactus. I like it. I like the idea of minimalist. Abstract, minimalist, simple. I could do that. Same kind of thing. Curves. Curves are tough. If I add heat, like, I might be able to do curves. I don't know. Something to play with. If I made So I don't even think this is metal. I think this is stone. But if I made curved pieces, I could try and get them to fit together in ways to make something like this. I might play with that. I might just waste metal trying to do it, though. This one looks like a bronze casting, like they're pouring liquid metal again. I like, because my mom's into hummingbirds, I was still looking at bird things. I like things with curves. Bird things. So many bird things. This one's like woodworking with stone in it. I like the idea of like metal wrapped around stone. That would be cool. All of this is like forging. It looks like that almost looks doable. If you got the metal really hot, like where it's almost melting. It's beyond my abilities. It's pretty cool though. A lot of these are way beyond me. But some of them aren't. These are beyond me. I like they have almost like a Cthulhu feel to them. This one looks doable. Just because they're all like the same width. They're putting slight angles. I like it. It's like a tree. A branching tree. This one, they're all the same width. It's kind of chaotic. It's simple, but it also doesn't look as impressive as this one. What else do we have that looks doable? This is just like two pieces of sheet metal. This one has some weird grinding on it. This other one is painted. They're welded together right there, it looks like, and right here. This one is welded to the bottom. Like, that's doable. That is. This just looks cool to me. This looks cool to me. This looks cool. This is another one for once you get access to a metal 3D printer. That would be the ideal way to do this. It could be done just by welding up some thicker pieces and like slowly grinding them down, but that would take forever. This is cool. This is just rebar, heated up, twisted around, bent up, welded together right there so that it branches off. I like this. Same thing. Cool stuff. This one's pretty simple. Square tube, they bend it almost into a circle, make 4 of those, and then just weld them up together. It seems simple. 4 circles. This is that one we already saw? Why is that in there twice? This is just square tube, and they took some cuts out of it. It's stainless. It is like polished nicely with a linear sanding, and they got a light in there somehow. I want to play with lighting. I like that. I like this one. It looks simple. It's interesting. It pulls my eye. It's organic feeling. This one looks simple. I could do that. This is just light. I like this translucent material. I'm guessing it's acrylic. I'm not sure. That could be glass, it could be plastic, it could be, lots of things. This is, again, that light made out of perforated steel. The interesting thing is this has to be custom, just because of the distance between the outside and the holes. My sheets, these holes would come right up to the edge, unless they're filling them in and then sanding them down, but that would be too much work. I think these are custom cut sheets where they're putting in their holes exactly where they want them. Because otherwise it would be hard to get this all to line up so uniformly. It's interesting. This is madness. I like it. There's like thin metal wrapped around there like vines. Craziness. That's a massive thing too. Pretty big. That would weigh a lot. Similar kind of thing, but much more simple. This is easy. I could make this. This is easy. It's the same one we saw earlier, except it's much shinier. I don't think I could get it to be this clean, but I could make it. This is just a 3D render. That's not real. But it could be done. It would just be very difficult to get all these uniform circles. It's doable. This just looks cool. I have no idea how you would do that. Similar. Like, I don't know how you would do a lot of these. This doesn't look that bad. It's interesting. I haven't done anything with, like, polishing metal yet. This whole video is just me looking through the things that I want to do. I'm trying to figure out, tomorrow I have to start a project. So what do I want to start? I like that they've got waviness on the wood. I could do that. And then on the metal would be trickier, but doable. I don't think I could get metal polished with this waviness. Maybe. This is just wood carving. I've played with wood carving some. I like it. This looks complicated and simple both at once. This looks pretty simple. It looks that way. I mean, it would be really easy if you used a CNC plasma cutter. You just put a sheet and program in the shapes and let it cut it out. This is cool, like metal wrapped around a rock. This is a door knocker, but it wouldn't have to be a door knocker. Just the idea of it. This is more forging stuff, so these are just straight flat bars, but they forge them so they look interesting. This is all forging that's way beyond me. Just taking plain pieces of metal, round metal, hammering it flat, twisting it back and forth, twisting it in weird ways. Like this is the original metal on the left. Then they hammer it so it elongates. Then they twist it so it shortens a little bit. Yeah. Interesting stuff. It's cool. Single twist, square bar, single twist, square bar, reverse twist, round bar, reverse twist, square bar, long split twist. So much cool stuff. 3D, like, these are just squares of metal, and they get them to look like the form, female form, blah, blah, blah. I could totally do that. Hurrah! It makes me think of, like, Edward Scissorhands a little bit. Like, being stitched together. I don't know. I like it. My mom also likes fountains, so I was thinking, like, this is a pretty simple fountain idea. I could play with that. This is detail work using... You could use a die grinder or just a Dremel with a carbide burr. And you just cut little textures, little circles, into the surface of the metal. So this is that hummingbird. This looks pretty simple. This, it just looks like it would be complicated to do, but the materials, if I could get them somehow, it's just a whole bunch of little circles. So like if you can find the circles, it doesn't cost that much to try this. I just have to find them. This is like craziness. But it's cool. These, I think these are just parts cut out of a tube. I don't know how you would get these clean cuts, but it's kind of cool. Makes me think. I like it. There's a bunch like that. Like this, I think that's just cut out of a tube. These, just a cut taken out of a tube. 2 cuts. Like I could do that by hand with a grinder and then try and clean it up. It's all kind of cool. This looks like a tube that's just cut and then they're like offset from each other. I don't even think this is made out of metal, but you could do it out of metal. These are just triangles. It would be Kind of a pain to get these sharp corners. This, I like this. The back of this seat is just made from a single sheet. And like they cut here, and then bent up and bent down, and then a single bar that they bent. That is cool. Minimalist. I like it. This one is copper. Again, it would be cool to play with those colors. Similar minimalist, but not as cool as this one. This, I just like that they go from like a sharp edge to like a curved edge that's weird. I think this is out of stone. It would be really tough to do this out of metal. So you would just have a straight plate and then you would have to bend it so that it would be weird. Could try to do it though. This looks simple. It would be a lot because really you're making like 4 boxes and then connecting them. But it's doable, and they're not 4 perfectly square boxes. It's very doable. I might play with something like that. This is just a bunch of boxes. 9 boxes? I kind of like this light. I don't know what you would use for the diffusion material. Probably just plastic of some kind. And I don't know where they get these little sliders so that it can open and shut, but it's cool to have like a light that you control the dimming with a moving part. A physically moving thing. I like that. This would be simple. Like you could just use a single sheet for this piece, and then you would use other sheets for these pieces. Very doable. Again, with the minimalist cactus looking thing, this is some pretty thick plate, but this could be done fairly small. I don't know how they did the colors. It might just be paint. That one does look like just paint. This is simple. This is super minimalist. Look at it. It's cool. I kind of like it. I kind of like this. It's out of stone again, but I could make that out of metal. This would be tricky. Inside parts are always a little bit tricky. I like seeing the sketches of ideas. These ones are just like curves and form, yeah. That would be cool to bend some thin sheet metal into cool curves and then weld pieces together. This could be made out of metal and be like a flame. That would be cool. I would like that. These ones are all about form. This one feels pretty close to my logo, but it would be so hard to... It's not even that hard. It looks simple. It's like 3 pieces of sheet with a little bit of twist to them, and they wrap over. Technically, you could do it out of like a single sheet with 1 seam, but that's beyond my ability to wrap my brain around. These have a twist. These ones, again, look like the female form a bit. This is... I wish I knew how to get this kind of translucent material. This would be so cool to play with. This one has a gradient from one color to the next. Such cool stuff. It probably takes forever to learn how to either make this or... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just buy it. This looks like simple sheet metal. Painted inside. Light fixture. More angles on it. Kind of cool. This one is very similar to this one. It might be the same piece. I think that is the same one. So that's cool. I have a couple pieces of glass, so I was looking at a few glass tables. I like these sketches. I don't know if I would plan it out this far. I would kind of just get whatever piece and then cut other ones to match it. So like once I know the 4 sides of this piece, I know that whichever one I cut to go up top, one of the sides has to match this. And then once I have 2 of them, then you just know that you have to fill these 2 pieces And your other sides don't matter until you're trying to join it all up at the end. I don't think I would try to plan the whole thing in advance. But this is kind of that shape, but as a light. The inside of this, they might have made these out of like copper or brass. I don't know what they did. The outside is painted, but who knows? These are those cactus ones. Looks kind of simple. I like it. It's probably made out of copper. Or bronze. Probably copper. And then some hummingbird things with some weird color effects that I don't know how to do, but if I did, that would be so cool. I need to learn. So many things I want to learn. These, I just like how simple the base looks. The rest of it, I don't care. But I'm thinking about doing something with a light. So yeah, this is what I'm maybe working on, and I might try and make some of it into a video. I might not. I don't know. That would be way different from everything with gaming. It would take way more effort. People might not be interested in it, but that's what I'm doing in real life. So yeah, just an update. Give feedback, all that stuff. Tell me the video is terrible and you hate it in gaming, and rah, get back to Noita. All that good stuff. For now, that does it for this video. Thanks for watching.